Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here today. I love that video intro. Hi, everyone. My name is Kelly Ling. I am the founder of Stork and Spark, which is a coaching and community platform supporting career ambitious parents as they navigate pregnancy, parental leave, and return to work. I want to thank Forte for giving me the chance to share this information, and to thank you all who decided to join today to listen to our talk about parental leave as a career growth lever. I suspect there might be a few of you who are pregnant in the audience, but many of you likely aren't. Maybe you're thinking about it in the future. Maybe you have a pregnant coworker or family member or friend. Maybe you're a manager and there's someone who's pregnant or expecting on your team. And so really grateful that you can come here and learn from the perspective of that pregnant person at work, as well as some of the other stakeholders that are part of their support team. So before founding Stork and Spark, I spent about 15 years in the corporate world, most recently at DoorDash, and before that at McKesson, Ghirardelli, and Deloitte. I am a bit of a serial career pivoter, so spent time in accounting, finance, innovation, operations strategy, and most recently learning and development and org development. And I have two little ones, and it was on my last maternity leave that I took the opportunity to lean into my entrepreneurial spirit and launch Stork and Spark. I was an MBA, or I'm an MBA alum from UC Berkeley Haas, where I was also a Forte Fellow. So again, really grateful for the role that Forte has played in my development and career, and really excited to give back here. So yes, feel free to leave comments or questions in the comments. And I'm seeing that some folks are here on maternity leave, so I love that, and congratulations. And we'll talk about that a little bit here. But sometimes there's this like magical pocket of the opportunity to develop yourself personally and professionally during maternity leave. So you might have some extra time where you can join conferences like this. So congratulations and thank you for joining. And then again, today we are talking about parental leave as a career growth lever. So oftentimes the assumption or the default is that you'll be taking a pause, or you might want to kind of step down or take it easy as you are on pregnancy. And I'm here to flip the script that pregnancy and parental leave can actually be your career growth accelerator. And it's all about proactive communication and strategic planning. Let's jump into it. So today we are going to follow Fiona Forte's journey as she navigates her pregnancy, leave, and return to work experience. We're going to identify strategic opportunities of career development at each stage in her journey. And then we're going to do some perspective taking from her colleagues, including her manager and her direct report. By the end of today's session, you will be able to identify key opportunities to drive your career growth forward during pregnancy and new parenthood. So let's hop in and meet Fiona. So this is Fiona Forte. She graduated from her MBA program in 2020. She has spent the last 4 years at a scaling fintech startup. She was promoted to senior manager in 2023. And because she is a rock star performance employee, she is on track for promotion to director following the 2025 performance review. So that's this year. And she just saw that second pink line on her pregnancy test this morning. So congrats, Fiona, on your pregnancy. So before we follow her full journey, we're going to take a step back and talk about what might be on her mind at each stage, when she is pregnant, when she is on leave, and when she is returning to work. And these are the what's on her mind, what might she be anxious about or thinking about. So the first question here, when and how do I share this news with my manager and team? She's thinking, she's excited, but immediately goes to, how do I share this news? What does that look like? Then she might think, how will this impact my career? There are a lot of assumptions and biases that we talked about. Is this going to be positive, negative? What might that look like? Then moving into, will my coworkers think I can't handle big projects? And so really kind of feeling some of those anxieties of after that excitement, how is this going to impact my work, and how are others going to perceive and think about me? And then practically, can my team tell that I threw up before this meeting? Morning sickness, especially in that first trimester, can be super intense and take a toll on you physically. At the same time, she is working hard to show that she has strong performance and wants to make sure that that is known front and center and is concerned about how she might be showing up. Then when she's on leave, so in that 3 to 6 month period after baby is born, so very early on, especially if she took a few weeks before her due date, she might be thinking, how can I get myself to stop checking Slack and emails? I'm so used to checking and being in tune with the team. So how do I do this detox of all the information coming through? Then when baby is born, she might be thinking, how in the heck are we still alive as a species? This is so hard. So my parents in the group, you may get this. For those who aren't parents, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But there's this strong, like, how are we still here? This is incredibly hard. I thought it would be intuitive because we've been doing it so long. So it's an intense feeling. Then as time goes on, there's a question that a lot of moms and dads ask themselves that they never thought they would, which is, do I even want to go back to work? Or do I want to go back to that same organization? And then finally, as you start to put the logistics together for going back to work, and you have created this new baby, you have them and you love them and you've been with them for every moment, then she realized, am I really supposed to leave my baby with a stranger for care? That's a very emotional and a big change. And then finally, as she returns to work, some of the things on her mind might be, how do I communicate my needs and my boundaries and hold my boundaries at work, including things like time to pump or being able to pick up your kid on time from daycare? Is her support system, or is my support system working to enable me to be my best at work and home? Did I design it in a way where I can excel both places? And do I see myself here for the next 1 to 2 years? She's come back, she's transformed, she is a new parent. She might have different priorities or a way that she brings herself to work, and is she where she wants to be for the next 2 years? So let's zoom back in on Fiona's, how Fiona navigates her experience when she's pregnant at work. So this is that first 1 to 9 months, maybe 2 to 8 months if you don't know you're pregnant in the first 1 to 2 months. And the theme here is that she owns the narrative and her experience. So what does this mean? At 2 months pregnant, she decides to share the news. This is at 8 weeks. This is unconventional. Many folks decide to wait till after the first trimester or later. They want to make sure it's safe, no risk for miscarriage, etc. But from her experience, as I mentioned, she's throwing up multiple times a morning. She's got that glow, the pregnancy glow that comes from throwing up. She is tired and fatigued, and she is worried about how she might be perceived because she is going for a promotion. So she decides to own the narrative, share the news, share it in a confident way. She is excited that she is having this baby and she wants everyone to know. And here's how her pregnancy at work is going to go. So then continuing to take that proactive owning the narrative and experience, she shared the news with her manager, who happens to be a mother too and is very excited for her. She sets up those recurring career conversations with her manager, at least monthly. And especially because she might be outside of the cycle of performance review, she actually uses this opportunity to set her own cycle, remind her manager that she has had stellar performance and that she is on promotion track and wants to stay on promotion track, and constantly checks in to make sure that she is on track or can right track if there's anything that comes up. She also uses this time to communicate as she creates her plan, communicating her plan, getting input from stakeholders, and as she gets closer and closer to leave, how she wants to be communicated to. So it's at 3 months, she starts up that cadence. So she has at least 3 to 4 meets with her manager on this conversation. Then at 4 months pregnant, she starts that coverage planning. So again, here she pulls in her team, she pulls in her stakeholders, she shares how excited she is about being pregnant, and she starts doing strategic planning of what's to come in the next 6 to 9 months. Who's going to be leading what? what to prioritize, what might need to fall off, or she has the opportunity and budget to hire a contractor, how that might go, because that requires some lead time. And so starting to do this planning early on in her pregnancy allows her to plug gaps, any kind of gaps or risks that might come up operationally, so that she has a really strong leave coverage plan, and she can go off feeling confident that her work is covered. And then finally, at 7 months, her plan is fully operational. So she might still have a month or so before she fully goes out, but she has built her plan in a way where she can step out and it is fully functioning. And the reason that she does this is she actually ended up having a high-risk pregnancy and has many doctor's appointments over the week. So she might be going once or twice a week. She's there for multiple hours, and sometimes she might miss meetings. She might not be able to be in the full day-to-day. And so she has built her plan where she can step out and is confident that it's moving forward. At the same time, she's still active and involved, so she can lean in, coach, and advise her team. And so really important that your plan is operational in that last month. And the other thing is sometimes babies come early. They come at 7 months. They come at 8 months. And so again, being able to walk into labor and giving birth, knowing that your plan is strong, helps you have that peace of mind to be present when you have that baby. And so this is how she controlled her narrative and experience while pregnant. What does her team think? What about her team? So first, here's her manager. Again, her manager is also a mom, so empathetic and excited for her. She says, I truly value Fiona's proactivity on creating her leave plan and her collaborative approach in building it. This helps me stay focused on ensuring her contribution has the right visibility going into performance review and discussion. So earlier today, we talked, this conference talked a lot about sponsorship and what that looks like. And what Fiona is doing here is making sure her manager is not worried about her plan at all, so that she can focus on being her sponsor and making sure the right folks are getting visibility, and she's talking about Fiona in the right way to those who are decision makers around her promotion. And then she has a direct report who is strong and eager and has been asking for stretch assignments. And so he says, I have been asking for a stretch assignment, and while Fiona is on leave, I'll be the lead on the core project. And with clear performance metrics, our goal is that I maintain ownership over the project upon her return. So this is really exciting because Fiona set up an opportunity for her direct report to take on a stretch assignment. She has time to coach him and develop him before she's on leave. And she's building a space so that when she comes back, she doesn't have to pick up the work. Rather, it's been delegated to someone who owns it, and she can step into that larger scope and promoted role. So she is setting up her direct report and team for success, and she's setting up her manager for success, thereby setting herself up for success. Nice work, Fiona. Moving forward. Okay, so she is now on parental leave. Our theme here is she is present and she finds those unexpected time for development. And so going back to some of the comments here where folks are on maternity leave and developing in themselves, you found it. You found that secret that there's time here to lean into your development. So what does this look like for Fiona? Fortunately, it's different state by state, but she has the opportunity to take 4 weeks before her due date for short-term disability. So she takes that opportunity. And during this time, she finishes prenatal classes with her partner, as well as some community local moms. And so she's starting to build community. She's able to be present before birth and working through what she needs physically, mentally for support going into birth. And then lo and behold, her labor starts 10 days early. This is full term, totally expected. Maybe she wasn't expecting it, but it is happening. So she heads off. Her bag is ready. She heads off to the hospital with her partner, where she fortunately has a very successful and not too long labor and healthy baby. So again, congratulations, you made it earlier than expected, but all is good and smooth. And again, she has the opportunity to be present and be calm, especially because she took that time off before. I'll just an aside here that oftentimes folks want to work up until their due date, until the very end, and then they might leave abruptly because of an early birth, which leaves a little bit of operational gaps and people kind of running around trying to figure out what's going on. So she's doing a service to everyone by taking that time earlier. And then, so we're, just every day things are changing. So for her, 2 days postpartum, and her baby finally latched. So again, for those who are moms or who get this, it is not easy to breastfeed if you choose to breastfeed. For some it is, but for many it is unnatural. The baby doesn't latch, you're not making milk right away, so you don't know if you're doing it right. And so it was a huge success for her. At 2 days postpartum, the baby finally latched, and she feels good that she's providing that nutrition for her baby. This is also a source of stress and anxiety of, if you aren't able to do it, are you failing your baby? You weren't cut off to be a mom. So there's so much that goes on around anxiety, around whether or not you can latch, and different things to care for your baby. So she was really excited that this happened. And then fast forwarding just a bit, at 3 weeks postpartum, so they've been home for a while, they're figuring things out, Fiona got her first consecutive 4 hours of sleep. And I add this here, it might not seem like a big deal, but again, the parents here, they know this is huge. Having that consecutive time to sleep, your brain starts functioning again, your baby's figured out that they're not actually nocturnal and they can sleep at night. So huge milestone here. So, and then again, part of the theme here is being present. So this is really focused on being present as that new mom in this first month period. Then fast forwarding through the rest of leave. So at 1 month postpartum, so you're still doing night feeds, you might be up in the middle of the night, you're texting your mom groups, and then you might start to find yourself reading your industry blogs around 3 a.m. or you're on X or different things, LinkedIn, figuring out what's going on, connecting with people. Suddenly your work brain is starting to be activated, or your work and your academic brain, that part of you that needs some kind of academic stimulation. And then around 2 months, she's starting to feel herself again, ready to go out and catch up with moms. And this is also a time where she leans into networking. So networking is another big theme here. She's leaning into her network, especially those who are moms who are working at her company or elsewhere. How did you feel during this time? How did you prepare for back to work? How did you build your support network? I'm really using this time both as an opportunity to learn from her community and village, and also network as she builds that. And this is also a really great time for networking and sponsorship because she has really exciting news to share. And so as she's reaching out to her network for conversations, coffee chats, she's able to share a really exciting thing that just happened for her. She also finds, again, she's up at weird times at night, and she finds a course on Gen AI, and she's like, hey, that's something that I wanted to learn more about. So she starts to take that. And so again, she's nurturing her network. She's doing some professional development. She's joining virtual conference like this. So that starts to happen around 2 to 3 months. Then 3 to 4 months, and especially if you're at an organization where leave is maybe 6 to 12 months, or at most 4 months, you are designing your support system for return to work, or you've already returned to work. So things like, what does childcare look like? How are you going to feed the baby? Are you nursing pumping? Are you doing formula? What does that look like? Do you have a nanny? Do you have to go do pickup? How is your partner involved? Do they have leave? And so this is the time for like logistics planning. What does that look like for return to work? And then finally, in that 5 to 6 month period, if fortunately you had a reasonably long leave for US standards, this is where you start to ease in, you reach back out to your manager and team, you remind them when you're coming back and make sure that there's no changes. You start to communicate your needs. What does that look like? Are you trying to do a slow ramp or part-time in the beginning? You might want to reset on scope and expectations too. You were very clear on what that looked like going out on leave. If anything might have changed for you, this is also the time to pick up that conversation. So she has that conversation and is excited to return to work. So now Fiona is back. And so what does her first week and month and few months look like? So the theme here for Fiona is that she chooses to ease in. She's constantly reassessing fit, and she ultimately is leading with confidence. And the easing in part is particularly hard for Fiona because she's always been someone to roll up her sleeves and jump in to hit the ground running. And so this is a growth and development opportunity for her to take that time to do the slow ramp. So what does that look like for week 1? This is around catching up. It's around reading new plan or strategy documents. It's about reading or seeing project statuses. It's about doing one-on-ones with your manager and your team to hear what's new. Maybe there have been org changes. Maybe there's new information. And again, it's that time to continue to network, reach out to other moms or parents at your organization who've been there and get their thoughts and advice. So take the opportunity for that slow ramp. Then she starts to get into her routine and boundaries. So just like during leave in those first couple of weeks, she figured out her routine. She's doing the same here at work. So what does that mean? She puts time blocks on her calendar for when she is pumping. She puts time blocks on her calendar, or these are the hours that she isn't working or won't be answering emails between the time of picking up her child and bedtime, and so on and so forth. So she's figuring out her routine, and she's setting and importantly, she's holding boundaries. And then week 4, she's starting to get the hang of it. And again, she's fully integrated and feeling confident, and her baby, she trusts her caretaking situation and is feeling good. And so here's where she's raising her hand to take on a net new initiative, also making sure that her team is developing, and she's working to sponsor them and make sure her whole org is moving in the right direction, especially as performance reviews are just around the corner. So let's talk about performance reviews. We said she was on track for promotion to director, and she got it. So month 2, when she's back, this is probably going to be in that January, February timeframe. She knew she left as confident as she could, making sure her manager could be her sponsor in the room for calibrations or performance reviews. And so even though she was gone for several months, maybe up to six months, she comes back. She's able to step into that updated scope role, and she gets promoted to director. So awesome. Congratulations, Fiona, and well-deserved. Month 3, this is another big one. She starts planning for a business trip. And so again, she's been on business trips many times before. It shouldn't seem like a big deal. This will be her first time away from her baby. This will be the first time where she has a night to herself and alone. So there's a lot of emotions, a lot to unpack with that first business trip, whether or not you're ready or not, what might you need from your colleagues to support. And then tangibly, again, if she is pumping, like literally, when is she going to pump? And does she send milk back, or their whole company is built to like send fresh milk back to your baby while you're out? Does she freeze it and bring it back? So on and so forth. So that first business trip is a big one. And then at month 4, she's totally in her groove as a working mom, and she is really excited to celebrate that her direct report just shared that they're pregnant, and can help be a strong sponsor for her as she goes through her experience pregnant and on leave. And importantly, during this whole time, Fiona is reassessing her work-life priorities to ensure organizational fit. Sam says, same here. Well, I'm curious to hear more, Sam. Same here. You're on leave, or you are someone on your team is pregnant? I'm curious to hear. So anyways, Fiona continues to reassess, because truly sometimes your work-life priorities can change or shift when you have a new human and someone that you love so much who is part of your life now who wasn't a year ago. And so is your organization supporting you? Do they represent the right fit for you and what you need as you move forward as a working mom on leave? Awesome, Sam. Congratulations. Okay, so we looked at Fiona's journey as pregnant, on leave, and returning to work. Pulling back up, we touched on all of these, but to summarize what some of these opportunities might look like when you're on leave. When you're pregnant, you have the opportunity to proactively share your news and take control of the narrative and enable longer term planning. So this is your opportunity to set the story. You don't want the story set for you. You know, if there are gaps, people will fill them in. So you are in control. Then have those career development conversations and role scope conversations. If you've been thinking about what a new role or scope is, this is an awesome opportunity to lean in. If you needed a reason, this is a reason. So set up those conversations, especially if they don't happen already, and talk about what do you want when you return to leave. Again, there's sometimes a lot of assumptions of like you want to step down, you want to slow down, and so if that's not where you are, I want to make sure you let them know. And then you want to have that bulletproof leave coverage plan. And this plan is covering you, it's elevating your team, it's elevating your manager, and it's elevating you. And so that's actually, I think, the crux of what you can do here is you elevate everyone on your team so that you can leave in confidence and you are performing so that when you come back, you can step into that role or that promotion. Okay, so when you're on leave, so Jenna, I will answer that at the end of this. I just want to make sure I finish this in enough time. So on leave, here we go. What can you do on leave? So while you're on leave, this is actually about focusing on being present and for yourself and for your family. And while that might not sound work related for career growth, being able to be focused and be present for you and your family will allow you to be your best self at home and at work. So it truly is that opportunity. You want to take the opportunity to network and develop a professional skill. Y'all are doing, especially those on leave, you're doing that right now. But it's such an awesome opportunity to share what's new with you and cultivate and nurture your network. And it is an amazing crash course to ask for help around delegation, prioritization, and releasing control, which is that is an area that a lot of moms have trouble with. But if delegation has been an area that you want to develop, have a baby and you will be a strong delegator on the other side. And then finally, on return to work, you want to be able to communicate and hold boundaries. You have the opportunity to communicate and hold boundaries. You have the opportunity to evaluate your organization to make sure it continues to meet your priorities in career and parenthood. And finally, you have the opportunity to lead forward with renewed confidence and honor that transformation into motherhood. And just a note on here, sometimes when people talk about their kids or they're pregnant, there is a little bit like sheepish or they qualify, or they're afraid that they're maybe not able to do what they could do before. And so my push here is honor that transformation, show that you are stronger on the other side, and don't talk low about it. Rather, this is a part of your professional development that you're able to bring as a leader going forward. Okay, so quickly, I would love to connect and work with you all. And so just sharing a little bit more about how we could potentially work together. If there are folks here who want to build a community of like-minded, career-driven moms or parents who want to talk about that, and they're either pregnant or on leave, I have a coaching and community cohort which has 6 bi-weekly virtual meetups, 2 one-on-one coachings with me. Feel free to mention Forte for $50 off, and our next cohort begins April 2025. So this is really where I found there's a ton of mom support groups, there's a ton of networking professional organizations. There is very little to support the blend of, hey, I'm that working mom going through this transformation. How do I do this? And then the other ways you can work with me, one-on-one support, your parental and return to work. Love helping orchestrate those conversations of how to share the news and building that coverage plan, career transitions in maternity leave or just more generally, or negotiations. Love that. And from an organization perspective, ERG speaking and workshops, coaching as a service, and returnship program development. So returnship's another big opportunity for those who decide to take a longer pause and need to come back into the working force. Sometimes it's hard to explain that gap. It's getting easier and easier, but organizations can also take the lead here by creating that returnship opportunity for moms and parents coming back into the workforce. So I would love to work with you on developing that. All right, we got a few questions here. So I wanted to call them out. Jenna, if maternity leave occurs during annual corporate performance reviews, do you have proactively ask your manager to give you a review early? Or is it necessary to partake in the review cycle? Absolutely ask for it early. Ask and push for it early. And if they say no, do your self-assessment anyways. Put all of that together so it's documented, even if it's informal, so that when you come back, you can just pull on that. So really great question. And thank you for asking. And cool, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth, for sharing your experience as well. And folks, yeah, if you have other experiences, feel free to add them here. Yes, local daycares have that 12 to 15 month wait list. So feel free to get on daycare wait lists before you are pregnant. When you get that space, maybe start your family planning and tracking to conceive. But yes, the logistics around childcare are, they're a lot. Which again is, as you manage that, you are developing your professional skills and bring that back when you're on leave. All right, thank you all so much for this opportunity. I just full of gratitude for you to be here today, and I look forward to connecting with you all.